Hello and welcome back to FM Wonder Kids. My name is Rhys, and coming up in today's show, we're going to be showing you 10 Wonder Kids, our top 10 Wonder Kids, available for under 30 million in Football Manager 2022. We're going to look at what they look like now, what they look like in the future, take a little look at their scout reports, and ultimately just share them with you so you can go away and sign them in your saves. If you do like the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. But let me show you first of all player number 1. Elizabanini, his first, and I got that completely wrong. Let me try it again. Elizabani. Let me know in the comments if I've got that right or wrong. He's an 18-year-old Ukrainian, and he's looking decent already, right? He's a centre-back, a spirited centre-back nonetheless. Tackling already 15 here in this save. Teamwork, positioning, composure. He's got strength and pace, etc. as well. His potential ability in the save again is 150. And if we fast forward 10 years into the future, he looks a little something like this, right? So you can see composure, concentration, and determination, jumping reach, pace, all in the greens. He's actually contracted to Chelsea now. Looking at his positions, we can see he can play anywhere really across the back line. He's also comfortable in a lot of positions in midfield. History-wise, he's had quite a decent development. There are only 2 seasons here that I can see where he hasn't quite had enough games. He's played for Man City. They signed him for 36.5 million from Dynamo Kiev. Average rating overall of 7.1, which is very, very good. And if we look into his scout reports, we can see he's a consistent performer, possesses great pace, can play in a couple of positions, and is driven in pursuit of his goals. Next up, Troy Parrott, back in 2021, an Irish 19-year-old playing for Tottenham. It says here between 38 and 46 million, but he's definitely available for just under 30 million. In some saves it might be different, etc. But finishing 12, first touch 13, you would hope they'd improve, right? And we'll take a little look in a second to see what he looks like in 10 years' time. Heading 14, technique 14, stamina 14. He's got some good attributes. His potential ability in this save is exactly the same as the previous guys, right? 150. So let's fast forward 10 years into the future to see what he looks like again in this save at 29. Okay, so we can see some development, especially I would say in the mental areas. He's quite well rounded as well as a player, I would suggest. 28 years old he is now, not 29 yet. 55 caps for Ireland and 23 goals. Playing for Crystal Palace here, only valued at 5.6 million, so probably when we dive into his history and stuff, we'll see that he hasn't been developed correctly. Again, position-wise, striker and attacking midfielder here. Looking at his attribute graph, though, is something I wanted to see, because you can see there it's quite well-rounded, right? History-wise, yeah, look at this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons here where he has played any games at all for Tottenham between 2022 and 2025, he goes out on loan to Red Bull Salzburg then, and then he starts getting some games. So will improve a lot more for you in your game, hopefully, if you play him, than he has here. Looking into his scout reports as well, we can see he's got a balanced personality. His strength and stamina make him a decent athlete. No consistent performer, no enjoys big matches though, which are 2 things which I really look for. In fact, he has got fairly inconsistent performer on the cons side. So maybe Troy Parrott isn't quite top level, but we've definitely got some great guys coming for you in this top 10. Musa next, and I know I've got that pronunciation wrong, so I'm more than happy for you to correct me down in the comments, guys, if you know how to pronounce that. He's a winger, he likes support duty the best. You can see he's got a little bit of acceleration, a little bit of pace, huge determination though at 16 here in this save. Valued at just above 30 million according to my scouts, but you could definitely obviously get that under 30 million, I'm sure, in your saves. Looks very, very promising. It's nice to have an American on the list. 6 caps for his country already, and I really like the fact he's got 15 aggression here as well. Fast forward 10 years time and you can see he has bulked up. 28 years old here, playing for Paris Saint-Germain. His potential ability is 154, right? So just 4 points off Troy Parrott, who was the previous guy, but you can see he's probably been developed a lot better, right? Acceleration, agility, natural fitness, and the potential ability can vary, right? In your save could be different to mine. Crossing, dribbling, he's a dream. This guy looks like a dream. You could even play him at like fullback, I reckon, with these attributes. I wouldn't have any problems doing that. Looking a bit further into his profile, you can see comfortable any position, in any position of the midfield. I want to look at his attribute graph as well, because you can, oh wow, that's an absolute beast, right? The circular attribute graph, he can play anywhere on the pitch, I think. History-wise, you can see a lot better development than Troy Parrott, although there is 1 season where he only played like 0 games, which obviously isn't good enough. Scout report-wise, he's a spirited individual, enjoys big matches, is a consistent performer as well. Definitely a star in the making. And you can see here as well, I've just made an offer of 29 million after a little bit of negotiating, and Valencia have happily accepted that, even though it says here transfer value from between 31 and 36, right? So these negotiations are possible, trust me. Jinyo Dest next, another American. He's 20 years old, contracted to Barcelona nonetheless. Very, very promising looking right back. In fact, he looks insane for his age of 20, right? Acceleration, pace already. His media description is Wonderkid. Off the ball, technique, first touch, crossing. But what really stands out to me here is his pace, right? It's quite an important attribute to have, acceleration and pace in a fullback. But fast forward 10 years and it looks like he hasn't really progressed at all as a player. Still got acceleration 15 and pace 16. Let's dive a little deeper to find out what's happened to this guy. He's still contracted to Barcelona. His potential ability is 155. Great positional sense on the right and the left as well. Attribute graph-wise, it looks quite sexy already, right? So maybe he's close to his potential at the start of the game anyway. Yeah, he must be, because look, history-wise, he's had an amazing kind of development. And he is 20 years old at the start of the game, so he probably is just very, very close to his full potential already, right? Fairly consistent performer, spirited individual, possesses great pace, has no real cons that I would be worried about. Okay, so if we go back 10 years, we can see that his current ability is actually 140, right, at the start of this save here, and his potential ability is 155, right? So he's very close to being as good as he's going to get at the start of the game here, especially in this save anyway. But he's still a great right back. Still an amazing world-class right back. Filip Stevanovic next then, back in 2021. He's an inverted winger on loan from Man City, so he might be a little bit kind of unachievable, or you might not want to sign him straight away because he's on loan from Man City. Alex Bina next, I want to pronounce it like that. He's on loan from Villarreal. My scouts are telling me between 22 and 27 million will pick this guy up for. His potential ability is about 159 in this save. He's an inverted winger. He likes to be agile. I mean, he's got agility of 14, dribbling of 14 as well, flair 14 and vision of 14. And fast forward 10 years in this save and you can see his agility has gone up to 17, right? You can use either foot, good at dribbling, first touch as well, flair 15, vision 15 as well. Comfortable on the attacking midfield left position, but he's either footed, right? You can play centrally, up front, back in midfield. Looking at his attribute graph, right, it shows a kind of quite a technical, obviously attacking and physical player. History-wise, you can see there's a couple of years where he hasn't quite been developed enough. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'd say 5 years worth of extra development you could get out of this guy. He's playing for Tottenham now. My scout is telling me he's a very consistent performer. Now that is dark green, which indicates a high consistency attribute, which is obviously a hidden attribute. He's valued at 94 million here as well in 10 years time, so definitely one to get your hands on at the start of the game. Takuya Kupo next. Nice to see a Japanese player making it onto the list. We don't get a lot of them. He's left-footed. He's contracted to Real Madrid. He's actually out on loan at the start of the game, so maybe one to like wait until January or maybe the second transfer window. Dribbling 15, first touch 15. He's got a potential ability of I think 163 here in this save. Passing 15, technique 15 as well. He's going to be a technical monster, right? I really hope when we fast forward in 10 years time that he's been developed properly, right? Because he could have quite a few 16s. Let's have a look. Wow, that is a shame. Just 116 vision. He must have been totally underdeveloped, right? He's 29 years old here, playing for Levante, only valued at 30 million. Let's delve a little bit deeper to find out what's happened. Very right-sided, even though he's left-footed, which is a little bit strange. Attribute graph-wise, it shows that kind of a technical kind of flair player, right? History, though, what we're going to see here. Well, that is surprising. Only really 2 seasons where he hasn't had enough football. Very, very strange then that he hasn't kind of reached the heights that you would think, and those 16s haven't really come. My scout's telling me he's a fairly consistent performer. Let's have a look at his cons to see if there's anything under the bonnet with this guy, but why he hasn't really developed, right? Levante are not prepared to sell Kubo. Okay, that's not relevant. Lack of determination could hinder him in situations. So maybe it's the lack of determination that has meant his development hasn't really been top draw. Kubo will likely be a peripheral figure in the squad, not fitting in easily to a social group. Strength and fitness levels contribute to low athleticism. Doesn't enjoy big matches. So Kubo maybe one to avoid. He hasn't really developed as much as he should. He said the game time, maybe it's just something under the bonnet with this guy that just isn't right. Miguel Gutierrez next, 165 potential ability, but he's only sitting on 122 at the moment. He's 20 years old, so he will have to pack a lot of development into like 1 or 2 years to kind of pump these attributes up. Dribbling, crossing at 15 and 14 though already. For a left-sided defender, he looks good already, right? Determination 16, he's got acceleration and pace. He's got, like we mentioned, the crossing and the dribbling. Tackling maybe lets him down a little bit, so he's one of these kind of attacking left backs. Let's have a little look to see if he has beasted any of that potential in the intervening 10 years. 135 he's made it up to, so he's gone from 122 to 135. He's 29 years old now. He's got the determination, the leadership though, which is very good, right? He's got that acceleration that we spoke about. His agility is 15. Tackling still 12 though. So definitely more of an attacking fullback, but those mentals are very, very good. Very comfortable at left back, can play right back as well. History-wise, you can see really why that development hasn't really kicked in as much as it should have. About 5 seasons here where he hasn't played enough football. Reports-wise though, under the bonnet, he enjoys big matches and he is a fairly consistent performer though, so I'm sure he could get a little bit better for you in your saves. That is Miguel Gutierrez. Nico Williams next, 168 potential abilities, starting off on 121 in this save. He's 19 years old, so a little bit more time to grow into that potential ability. Dribbling, finishing, first touch, determination, he's quite good, right? And he's going to get good, I'm sure. Acceleration, natural fitness, he's determined, he's left-footed, he's a winger. What could go wrong? Okay, now we're talking. This guy has improved quite a bit, right? Look at those physicals, look at those mentals, and look at that first touch, 17, as well as technique. World class. In fact, he's described here as an elite winger by the media. 28 years old. Let's have a little look under the bonnet because he's playing for Chelsea and he's valued at 176 million. Comfortable on both sides of the pitch in terms of attacking midfield. Up front as well, and with finishing of 14 and composure of 17 here, I wouldn't put it past him to play that role. He's even quite good at heading, 13. I mean, he's not terrible at heading. History-wise, yeah, good development. 1, 2, maybe 3 years. You could probably get a little bit extra out of him, but he's definitely seen some good results here. Reports-wise, my scout tells me he's a fairly consistent performer, displays a fairly determined attitude, as well as obviously having great pace, first touch, and thriving on big matches. That is good. Yeremy Pino next, an 18-year-old attacking midfielder from Spain. He's a spirited wonder kid, described here by the media as a wonder kid. Dribbling 16, flair 15, determination 14, agility 15. One of the highest potential abilities in this save here. Let's hold our hands together and pray for 10 years' time to make sure he can develop into that potential ability. Let's see. 152 he's made it to. That is his current ability in this save here. He's playing for West Ham, value between 61 and 88 million. 28 years old. He's got some juicy attributes, right? Dribbling, technique, vision, flair, determination, composure, and agility, all in the green here on this save. You can see that he's very versatile, playing in a lot of positions in the forward part of the pitch. His attribute graph is pretty sexy. History-wise, we can see that you could probably develop a lot more. 1, 2, 3, probably 4, 5 seasons where you could get a lot more development out of him in terms of first team games. He enjoys big matches, and crucially, he is a fairly consistent performer. That is your list for today. Thank you so much for watching. Do hit the like button if you want to download all the shortlists that we use in these videos. Consider supporting us on Patreon. Hit subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you again.